How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Sinister, excuse me, Sinister of the Gamer section, bringing you an interview. And before we begin, hey, drop us a like, things like that. With that being said, I'm going to let our guest introduce himself.
Hello, my name's Adrian, and I make games, I guess.
All right. Yeah, just go ahead and get started. Basically, go from the beginning. It's like, what got you into gaming?
um, I've always I remember a friend of mine when I was younger. He was like, "We should make a game," and so like we drew up pictures, but we were like 10 and 12, so we didn't uh, know that anything existed that would allow us to to do that. So it never went from there. But a couple of years ago, I came across an article of um, somebody learning how to make a game from zero experience and without any real background in it. So that was kind of when I thought I could do that. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool. It's like that was good. And, you take somebody from the ground up. I was like, that was a cool thing. Anyway, as far as like your favorite games, like yeah, like favorite games growing up, or like any fond memories of it.
So my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy X, and that was kind of like growing up. I had two older brothers, so I spent a lot of time watching video games, and so Final Fantasy X was kind of like the first time that I could um, do that on my own, play a game that was maybe out of my age range for the time. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites.
That's cool. Yeah, I can relate because I got in the game because of my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like the Final Fantasy games go, usually Part Seven's my favorite of all time of the series. But Part 10 was the last one that I played.
Yeah, yeah, that was the last one that I liked. I've played like some of the older ones,
Mhm.
and I've tried the newer ones, but they don't really do anything for me.
Yeah, I can relate. But yeah, the remake interests me some because even though it's more action RPG, but like a little bit else, a little turn based here and there,
Yeah.
but things like that. Other than that, can we just what's the name of your development studio?
I've been going by Space My Friend. It's nothing official, but it's kind of uh, the first thing I slapped on my first game that I made, and so it's just that's what I've been going with.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we'll just go ahead into it. Yeah, tell us the name of your game and then what is it all about?
So my latest game is called City Limits. It's um, a simple, I would say, casual city builder slash puzzle game. And so, like, as you place little building tiles on these little desolate islands, if you put them in the right combos, they will spawn new buildings. And the goal is to rack up as much points before you fill up the island.
Oh, that's cool. Is there like any influence or any other games or anything just gave you ideas or inspiration to create this game?
So this one came about from a game jam, and it's the style of the game is kind of not like anything I have worked on in the past. Usually, I've been making like bullet hell and roguelike games. So this one was definitely different for me. It was just kind of like I I didn't have any real inspiration for it. Initially, it was going to be like a turn based tile structure where you had enemies, and it was kind of like Into the Breach was probably the inspiration. But then I realized that within the realms of a game jam, I didn't really have time to do something that intense. So it became a puzzle game, which are not. I wouldn't say they're easier to make.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, what did you use to develop this?
So I work in Game Maker Studio.
Nice.
That's what I learned down.
Yeah, because like other people I interviewed, yeah, they all like have like the preferred methods of software that they use. You know, like from Unreal Engine, which is probably the more advanced, like
Mhm.
probably to the Game Maker Studios and other things that they that they prefer to use. Because whatever was easier for them to like to make their games out there.
Yeah, yeah. Game
Um,
Maker is definitely it's good for like small teams or one person. It's definitely more manageable. I mean, I've never worked in anything else, so I can't really speak for any other software. But
yeah, you could basically say it's like for anybody that want to get like started on it, it'd be right here.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah, it's like this game have like a story, or it's just straight puzzle. Just get right into it.
Yeah, it's super chill. Like um, on my Steam page, I suggest playing it with with headphones on, and so like I've been focusing a lot on like the music. This is kind of the first time that that's been more of the focus because my last game I had somebody else make the music for it, and so this one it's like it's supposed to be more relaxing and just kind of like just uh like it can be very strategic in how you play, but it can also just be like you just turn it on to maybe wind down at the end of the day or yeah.
That's cool. Oh yeah. Before going any further, hey, shout out to Two Fish Games. It's like, hey, gamer section, we're watching. Yeah, appreciate you coming through.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, what else can you tell us about the presentation?
um have you played that game called Townscaper?
I heard of it, but I've never had a chance to play it.
Okay, same here. I have never really played it either, but I've seen the videos. I guess I would kind of describe it as that. Like everything is very cozy sounding. Like you place a tile and like little rocks fall off and make small splashes in the water, and yeah, this is definitely a more laid back than what I usually make, and it's yeah. My other games are very gross and kind of
Wow.
I don't know juvenile, I guess.
Was, so basically, like, do you like a favorite gaming genre, like you was talking about?
uh, I do love roguelites, and after this one, I will be returning to one that I was working on previously, and um, yeah, it's yeah, this is like I said was really out of my comfort zone. It's nothing like I've done before. So.
Okay, cool. I can say shout out to Honest Gamer, and he does have a question for you. It says, do you prefer Unity Engine or Unreal Engine?
I haven't used either, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, like I said, like probably those are probably like for the more advanced, like someone wanted to make like a AAA, that kind of game.
And I think Unity is. I mean, I know some people who use it as their main thing, and they're a small team or one person. So, I mean, if that's what you're basing it off of, then yeah, probably Unity.
Okay. Um, Speaking of this game, how long did it take you to develop this?
So the game jam was a week long, and the main mechanics were done in a week. And so then I've spent, oh, I think it's like a month just kind of polishing and making music. That's been taking a lot longer than I intended, but yeah.
Okay.
So it's about a month. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Honest Gamer has another question. It said, do you plan on growing your studio in the future?
Um, not not really. I do like to work by myself and or in a small group. So like I mentioned, my last game, I worked with another guy and he did the sound and the music, and doing that was a huge help. And so if I ever take on anything that is a little bit bigger than I'm used to, I probably would hire it out. But otherwise, I like to just take my time on it. And yeah,
Okay. Oh, yeah. What was the name of the last game that you and somebody else that you work with?
that one's called Cavity Busters. That one's like a roguelite bullet hell. It's kind of when most people see it, they think Cavity or not Cavity Busters. They think Binding of Isaac.
Uh-huh.
So, but I would say it's nothing like that,
Okay.
other than like some main pillars that are common between them, like find the
Mhm.
treasure, kill the boss, go to the next room or next level.
Okay.
That's kind of it.
Okay. Well, for anybody out there in the chat, I've displayed the link right there, and hopefully you will see it in the description. You can always check it out. Let's see. So you got another question for you. I said, what inspired you to create retro style games?
So they're generally easier, I would say. Um, you're working with a smaller art size, um, like the main size of graphics my in city limits is like uh, less than 32 pixels, so it's easy to make a lot of art, and it's easy to change that if I need to. I don't have to spend a lot of time on art, and also sound effects. Um, I can usually make those myself as well. Although with this one, I've found like some free libraries online that I've been picking through, and but yeah, it's generally a lot less time to make content for a game that's more retro.
Oh, hey, that's cool. It's a Two Fish Games. I'm checking it out now. All right, cool. Yeah, you get a little buzz going on.
Yeah, nice.
Because while I was checking your link out earlier before we started the interview, yeah, after looking at it, it's like I could think of like the bullet hell games because basically that's what I've been playing like the past couple of weeks. It's just old school bullet like just nose of the grind. Trying to get through it as tough as you can, as
Yeah,
fast as you can.
yep, for sure.
I know this. I was like, when creating this game, that they like have like any bad experience with the dentist just to create this game, or just there was just random like you and your friend came together with.
Yeah, it was pretty random. Like uh initially, like the character just shot one bullet out of his head, and so he
Mm-hmm.
was just like this little gummy thing that had a bullet sticking out.
Yeah,
And so I thought that was kind of odd, so it became a tooth, and then from there everything followed.
that's cool. And you got another question. Growing up, what was the console that you played a lot of?
So the first one I remember was PlayStation 1 was,
The OG.
yeah. but for but probably PS2 was mainly, because when we had the PlayStation 1, we didn't really have games for it. We just had like the demo discs that,
Yeah, I remember those.
yep. So that was like all we had to play. So I never really got to finish games on that.
Yeah, that's understandable because I never like played with those demo discs up until the games like came available in the in the video stores like the brick and mortar of.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
All right. Anyway, like for the cityscapes, like for like this game, your previous one, and this new one, that you worked on is like setting that high difficulty. It was like your standard of it. Like you're always like, hey, just make as tough as you can, tough as you can be.
Yes. Like I enjoy difficult games, but I also so like yeah, Cavity Busters is difficult like right off the bat, but I wanted it to be accessible. Excuse me, accessible to as many people as possible. So I included in all sorts of options to make that. Um, for instance, like you can just go in and unlock all the characters. You can unlock all the items right from the get go. Like that, it doesn't block off any content, and like also with the characters, there's I made sure to make some that were a more simplified version
Uh-huh.
of the game. So like one character is like a traditional twin stick shooter, but the
Right.
main character is kind of has a little bit more involved with it. So it's like I wanted those things so like if the main mechanics didn't really work with people, there was another option.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Does your game have like a tutorials, like just to get people like introductions, probably just to get a little feel for it before diving headfirst into the main game?
Yeah. Um, so city limits, my goal with that was to use as little text as possible. So in the tutorial, there's like a few sentences, and a lot of it is just showing the player what to do, and because teaching teaching people how to play your game without like physically being there is harder than I would have ever expected. It's just so getting simple mechanics and then precise words and images to go along with that is was really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of like images, like do you like use those like kind of like cutscenes, like will probably to probably expand the story, say like people trying to get through the game and probably know what it's all about, things like that.
Yeah. So like um every tile that you can place has kind of like it's almost like a Lego instruction book next to it that is just always there. So you see exactly what that tile does all the time, and and that stays there throughout the game because it's just you need that instruction. But like it's just always nice to check with the manual. I wanted to like uh, make a physical manual to go along with it, but that won't happen.
Speaking of that, what is like the benefits of using Steam or publishing your game on Steam?
Yeah, it's great. Like uh, I've been using itch.io too,
Uh-huh.
and like that's easier yet. But like the Steam has the community behind it, I guess, the amount of people using it. So like even somebody who like me who's making a game that hardly anybody has heard about, I can still put it on there and make a little bit of money off of it. But yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like I said, like people I previously interviewed, like they're sharing their experiences, like publishing their their game on Steam, and because like I said, they're going through their growing pains, and hopefully some get some buzz going,
Mhm.
just to get it out there, and of course what market, but yeah, the thing between the two is yeah, of course Steam is mega popular, and it's basically helping like a lot of indie guys like just get their game their name out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Two Fish Games said following him on Steam. Hey, there you go.
Woo! Thanks.
But
Awesome.
speaking of that, do you like have any other? Well, before we go even further with that, what probably with this game, like, do you ever plan on like making any expansions for it, like just to keep it going, or you probably just want to move on to a new project?
Um, so depending on if it's received well and people enjoy it, I do have some other ideas that I would like to explore down the road. But yeah, otherwise, I like to just move on to something else. It's fun to start a new project and work with a different setting and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay. That's like for your previous game, like the Cavity Busters. Is that all? That was single player, or does it have multiplayer?
That's single player. Yep.
Okay. Do you like have any future plans, like implement multiplayer in the future game, or you just basically just gotta stick to single player only?
I might dabble with multiplayer at some point, but
Mhm.
for right now, I'm just sticking with the single player. I mean, like Cavity Busters went through an early access period, and um, so yeah, it was a lot of updating and fixing bugs for that. Um, but yeah, I would like to do something else with Cavity Busters at some point. Is kind of yeah.
Okay. Two fish games, like yeah. So I talked to my partner about playing Cavity Busters and shooting you guys out. Any tips? Oh, shouting out. I guess he said shouting. Yeah, you got what you meant.
Yeah. Um. So my tips are to use the wall running mechanic a lot because um, that's kind of like a small version of like uh, traditional shoot 'em ups bombs. So like when you run on the wall, you have like a brief invincibility period, and then uh, it also makes you a little bit faster, so you can maneuver around the room really quick. And so don't be afraid of the wall running. A lot of people when they first play it, they're like, I've never seen this mechanic in a game, so it like they kind of stay away from it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you gotta learn how to crawl before you walk.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, because I know a couple of guys, like they love difficult games, things like that. Like, but seeing Cavity Buzzing, if I share that out to them, I'm sure that it's right up their alley. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't mind trying that myself because I mean, I'm cool with bullet hell games because especially playing like all the shoot 'em ups I have, like Ikaruga, being one of them.
yeah.
I was like,
And there's actually like in Cavity Busters is like a section of game where it turns into a traditional shoot 'em up.
uh-huh,
So it's got a little bit of something for everybody.
that's cool. I'm like, yeah, said like Cavity Buster does do well. Like, do you kind of like probably put some DLC or not DLC, but probably another expansion just to keep it going if you had like enough interest on that one.
Yeah, so right now it's actually I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but it is getting ported to like the consoles and stuff. So like
That's cool.
I I've kind of held back on like adding too many updates because it kind of can mess with the people working on the port.
Right.
So so maybe after that's done, I'll see about adding some stuff because there were some bosses that I wanted to add in that didn't quite make it, and yeah.
Yeah, because so you may have like the chance to throw in that boss. Like, can you kind of say like it's like a director's cut of your game, or probably just expansion? Like, hey, like this boss wasn't added earlier, but yeah, now this is gonna be in. Like, is that something you want to put in like down the road or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it would just be like a free content update. I
That's
don't think
cool.
I'd ever dabble with paid DLC or anything like that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like speaking of porting, like what was your experience like? Talking to somebody like porting your games like to consoles, things like that.
It's been mostly good. Like uh, at one point, I was talking to a company and um, we signed documents and we're ready to go, and then like they just ghosted me. So that sucked. But now I found a different company that they've been cool and they keep in contact and they let me know when they need something. It's like the last company was like I sent them a build of the game and
Mhm.
they never got back to me. So I my thought is they just played it and didn't like it and then didn't tell me and just left me waiting. But
Right.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually when it comes to those contracts, it's always cool, like to bring probably have somebody with you, like probably look over it that way. And, just all your bases are covered, so that way, hey, like no one's left out of this one, so that way, hey, I
Yep.
received this and received that.
Yep. Exactly. I did consider like getting a lawyer to look at it, but
Right?
I couldn't afford that, so
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I mean, Laura's not a bad option,
yeah,
but yeah, just like you said, they're pricey.
yeah. Yep, there's a reason they're paid well though, because those contracts are not fun.
Exactly, especially all the legal jargon and the fine prints, because basically no one wants to get screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But all in all, yeah, that's basically like all the questions I have right now. Like I said, like before we close, I was like, yeah, just tell them where everybody can find you at.
Yeah, so I'm at Twitter, space my friend. Um, City Limits will be out soonish. I was hoping to get it out by the end of this week, but we'll see. I still gotta do some other stuff, but that'll be on Steam. Um, and then my other games are on Steam as well. And yeah,
All right. Yeah, like I said, everyone, just in case, I left a link to the Cavity Busters if anybody is interested in the, like I said, anybody in the chat. But all right, well, like I said, this concludes another interview with the Death. I'm your host, Sinister. You can also find me on Twitter, Konshu19, and also you can find me on Instagram at Sinister1019. With that being said, this concludes our show. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day.